This is a press conference by Minister Motegi. Minister, please. First, I have 3 points to mention. About the Personal Affairs and Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As of today, Cabinet meeting, Personal Affairs were approved and is officially announced today. Vice Minister Akiba led the Secretariat representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for 3.5 years, which is a very long period, the longest since the end of the war, despite the turbulent international situation, including Vice Minister Akiba. Those who experienced important positions appreciate very much their good job. The personal affairs were decided considering a variety of elements, but in particular we place importance on 2 points. One is continuity of policy and further development, and another is active appointment of women and younger resources. The outline of personal affairs documents will be distributed later. Successor of Vice Minister Akiba will be Modi Takeo, Senior Deputy Minister, and his successor will be Yamada Shigeo, Director General Foreign Policy Bureau, who will be succeeded by Okano Masataka, Director General of International Legal Affairs Bureau. The Chief of Protocol will be Shino Mitsuko, Director General for Cultural Affairs, but she will also be appointed as ambassador responsible for Tokyo Olympic Paralympic Games, which will be held next month, and also will be engaged in the Olympic Paralympic Games. And the vacant position of Deputy Press Secretary will be Okano Yukino, Director of Accounting Division, who joined the ministry in 1993, who will be succeeded by Kaihara Kentaro, Japan-US Security Treaty Division, who joined the ministry in 1996. Under new organization, we hope we can work together and do our best in terms of our international affairs.
The second point, it is about overseas trips. In fact, I'm following the press reports rather. On June 29th at Matera, Italy, G20 Foreign Minister meeting, Foreign Minister, Development Minister meeting, and Development Minister meeting will be held. If the circumstance permits, I will attend these meetings and then will visit Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, those 3 Baltic countries from June 30th to July 3rd. G20 Foreign Minister meet in person will be held 2 years after the G20 Aichi Nagoya Foreign Minister meeting I chaired. I would like to be engaged in an active discussion on a series of issues the international community faces following the COVID-19 and make contribution to the multilateralism led by G20. Japan and the 3 Baltic states will celebrate the centennial of friendship this year and the next year. Seizing this important opportunity, I will visit these countries for the very first time as the Japanese Foreign Minister. I would like to exchange views on how to promote bilateral relations and thoroughly discuss different regional issues when Europe is showing growing interest in the Indo-Pacific region.
The third point is that tomorrow, 23rd of June, will be the 76th Memorial Day to commemorate the fallen during the Battle of Okinawa. On this occasion, I would like to express my heartfelt condolences for the fallen. Even today, the 76th anniversary of the end of the war, the people of Okinawa are experiencing a major impact. This is an unacceptable situation that we take very seriously. I will continue to exert all efforts as the Minister for Foreign Affairs to listen to the feelings of the people of Okinawa. That is all from me.
質問がある
The floor is open for questions, and please proceed into the microphone if you are called upon. Identify yourself and state your question. Yamamoto-san. This is NHK Yamamoto. With regard to the personnel changes, Mr. Akiba, for 3.5 years, the longest period, served as his position, and as the person and the minister who was close to him. And how did you evaluate his talents, capability? The former Prime Minister, Mr. Abe, was promoting the diplomacy from the viewpoint of the whole world. And exactly in that sense, Mr. Akiba in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and when it comes into the international viewpoint, I think he was quite active in a timely fashion to promote diplomacy that views the world as a whole. And he was also skillful at combining all the resources and strength of different departments and agencies. As far as I'm concerned, with regard to the relationship with Mr. Akiba, I have been long in this relationship with him personally. For the past 2 years, the foreign minister and vice minister, and those are the two positions held by each other, and we work together very closely, collaborate with each other in order to deliver good results. And with regard to my own work, he was strongly supporting my work, and I really appreciate that. Mr. Akiba, what kind of position he is going to be engaged in, which I don't know much about yet, but either way, his potentials and skills and his experiences going forward are going to be extremely crucial for the national security as well as Japan's diplomacy. Quite valuable in that sense. Going forward, I truly hope that he is going to have a big success in the career.
Next question, please. Tobita from Nikkei, related to this question. Mori-san, who is succeeding Akiba-san, what are expectations to him? And what is the reason he was appointed? Mr. Modi, Senior Deputy Minister, will become the Vice Minister. He experienced being the Director General of the North American Affairs Bureau. He has experienced various positions, and the United States, from the Trump administration, the administration changed to President Biden. It was a very difficult period, and from Obama administration to Trump administration, from Trump administration to Biden administration, through these changes, Ambassador Caroline Kennedy, relationships with the ambassador, strengthening Japan-U.S. alliance, and another major issue, which is the peace treaty negotiations with Russia. He exerted a lot of his ability in those areas. Mr. Akiba for 57 years and Modi-san for 58 years. They were working closely together. Continuity of policy and further development. From that perspective, I hope Mr. Modi will do a good job succeeding Mr. Akiba.
Any other questions? Sato-san. This is TV Asahi. My name is Asahi. Switching the gears, I would like to ask a question about Japan ROK DG level meeting. And after the meeting, at the press conference previously, I think you were talking about the tough situation of the bilateral relations, and you also expressed the desire to continue the communication between the two countries. And even if that is the case, there should be a consistent approach asking the ROK to respond appropriately to our position. And there seems not to be any new position expressed from the ROK, but instead of that, the ROK expressed there should be a response from the Japanese side. And with that kind of a situation, how do you evaluate the current state of the bilateral relations? Now, the bilateral relations with the ROK still remains very tough. There was the first the Japan the ROK foreign minister meeting held in London, and with the foreign minister Chung Wi-yon we agreed that there should be continuity of communication between the foreign authorities. And based on that agreement, there was a bilateral DG level meeting. And the Japanese side clearly communicated our firm position on issues such as the so-called comfort women issue, former civilian workers from the Korean Peninsula, and the Takeshima problem. And in addition to that, we strongly requested the Korean side to respond appropriately to these demands. With regard to the ROK's position, we are not in the position to express any opinions about, but anyway, some kind of remedial actions should be made by the Korean side in the first place, which is extremely important. Going forward, we would like to continue the communication with the Korean side.
Any other questions? If not, this concludes today's press conference. Thank you very much.